Yo, it's Guido, and just Guido today, my friend. Sorry about that, but Pilgrim is at the granddaughter's birthday, so we're gonna have to see if I can carry the show. Probably not. Got a Sumatra blend today. Who we got? We got O Brute, Artillery, Odd Dog, Gator. Excuse me, Wayne. The Hobbit is MIA, my friends. He is MIA. But priorities. Granddaughter's birthday is probably mo important. My opinion only. 100 Battle Challenge, guys. What's been going on? Bonzi, thanks for the sub, man. Much appreciated. 41 months. Holy cow, man. You rock. Thank you. So, 100 Battle Challenge. 100 Battle Challenge. Let me get here. I'm working on 4 tanks right now. And they're all in about the 70s, 60s or 70s in terms of battle. So we've got the LPC. We've got the Object 260. The TNH 105/1000 and the UDES 1516. Which are all pretty good tanks. I don't dislike this TNH as much as I maybe did in the past. I don't know. It's not bad, man. I'm only running a 50% win rate in it. It's kind of up and down. I'm using the cyclical, the single shot gun. I don't really like the double shot on it. And what's interesting about this tank is the cyclical is actually theoretically the top gun. So I think the developers, for whatever that's worth, intended the top gun to be the cyclical and not the double shot. But I don't know, just based on the way it unlocks, if that actually means anything, which I think it does, but I don't know. A girl on Tinder asked why I have an unlit cigarette in my picture. I told her I'm just looking for, oh my goodness gracious. Slippers are still in the mail. That was 2 years ago. I've got this. I've actually got the slippers that caused the brouhaha last time. So I've got they're kind of worn out now. They got some dog hair on them too, but I don't remember what they were called. What were they called? It's all worn out, but it's those hemp slippers, man. That's what I'm wearing. That's what I'm wearing. So that's pretty good. The 1516, I'm enjoying that a lot better, so I'm doing better there. The TL1 LPC is actually quite good. Had a couple of ace tankers in it in the last few days. And the 260 is solid. Not a bad tank. So that's what we're doing with the 100 Battle Challenge. We haven't finished any, but we're getting close on a bunch of them. It is decent today, Wayne. We are sitting at 46 degrees. Yeah. So the last 2 days have been chilly, but not cold. 33 in Dallas, yeah. So that's a little colder than us. We had kind of a rainy, blustery day yesterday. It was supposed to rain in the morning, and then it just decided to sort of rain on and off all day. And I almost watched the forecast change in real time. It was one of those days where you say, don't like the weather, wait a few minutes. It was one of those days. Weather guessers got it completely wrong. It just kept deciding to rain. It was crazy. Had a line come through. In the spring, we get fronts down here quite a bit. In the summer, we don't have as many of those. It's just buildups from the humidity and the heat. So then we'll just get pop-up thunderstorms and stuff everywhere. But in the spring and winter, we get these lines that just continue to come through from west to east. And that's how we get our cold fronts down here as it pushes through. So we had one of those yesterday. Battle Pass, guys, ongoing. I'm on 35. How are y'all doing on Battle Pass? Anybody done? Are any of you crazy kids done? I was doing the maths on this. Diablo, what's happening, man? How'd your game go, dude? Did you win? You're halfway done. Halfway? Holy cow. I am at 35 on the first chapter. You basically have to get through a chapter a month, so that's how you know maybe you're on the timeline. Oh, you came in 6? Okay. Nice. Was it fun at least? That's good, man. Good on you guys. I didn't end up watching any. I might try to catch some of it today. See how the Streamcasters are doing. I've never been overly impressed with the Streamcasters. No offense to them, but I don't know. It's not easy. I did a little bit of that a couple years back with some BFM stuff. With, I can't remember his name now. Daki's the caster. Okay, good. Cool. I don't know when the next stream is, guys. I'm going to try to knock one out this week. It sounds like work, but I'm going to try to stream this week, probably midweek or something like that, for at least a couple hours in the afternoon. This week's been crazy because of spring break. Kids have been back and forth, and you're on 20 in the first chapter, Odd Dog. Sly Rascal, good morning. Artillery Bugs, what's up? Haven't played at all? You're on 21? Holy cow. My daughter is on a tour of the United States attempting to get home from California. So Delta counts, I don't know, weird. I didn't realize I actually bought this. I think her friend's dad got the tickets. We ended up paying for it. I didn't pay attention to them, but the return was from LA to Seattle, and I think a direct flight into Orlando, which is where she's trying to get to. Well, she got to Seattle, and they canceled the red eye from Seattle to Orlando. Then they tried to put him up in a really sketchy hotel, so they said no thanks. They went to another hotel. So now you got to request, supposedly they had a voucher, now they got to request that. Or I have to, actually. Now they've got her going from Seattle to Salt Lake to Atlanta to Orlando. So me and Delta are going to have a little discussion, I think, in the near future. That is irritating. They didn't give her a reason for the cancellation. And I think isn't there actually a law that they have to compensate for that kind of crap? Yeah, Atlanta's a pain in the ass. I've been in Atlanta way more times than I even want to think about. Do not like the Atlanta airport very much. But we have to go there from here because that's where Delta goes. Almost every flight from Delta. I don't even know if they might go to Orlando from here with Delta. I don't remember. Well, Brute, I don't think it was due to weather. I mean, I suppose they probably could code it as weather and then you're screwed, right? I looked at it. It didn't seem like there was a problem with weather. Yeah, who knows? I don't know. Well, Brute would be way more the expert than I would. Anyway, I'm going to wear their ear out and then get nowhere and piss myself off. So that's my plan. At least I have a plan. I'm going into it with a plan. Yeah, the Hobbit's out, guys. The Hobbit's out. He's at a birthday party for the granddaughter. Priorities, my friends. Priorities. So we'll try to get through it. All right, computer-wise, I'm sitting here looking at the temperature of the CPU. Again, I don't know if that was the problem, but it's sitting at 60 or so with all this stuff open and streaming. So that's 62. You know, some cores touching 67, but nothing higher than that, which is entirely reasonable. And I haven't seen any other issues for the week. So I don't know what that was. I guess it could have just been something got sideways and it was a one-off. I don't know. But what's really interesting is, and I've probably been kicking the piss, and I knew that rendering videos was tough on CPUs, but when I started up PowerDirector and started rendering, and I was paying attention to temperature, which I'd never really done before. I'd looked at the GPU, but didn't really think about the CPU piece, which is what most of the rendering stuff uses. I was watching the temperature, and dude, it was hitting 85, 89. I mean, it was up there. And when you think about it takes 30 minutes for some of those videos, some of the longer videos, you know, anything from 10 to 30 or 40 for a coffee talk up to an hour. Because I'll actually drop the resolution and the quality down a little bit for coffee talk because it's just us chatting. There's no real gameplay in there. So that will make it a little faster, but still it's like an hour. Dude, I have an i9. I have an i9. So that's an hour of the CPU cooking along at like 80 to 85. Now, interesting part, I said it was interesting, is if I minimize the program, put it down into the tray down there, it immediately drops down to 60 or so while it renders. So something about because it's got a preview function. Now, I actually turned off the preview function, but that doesn't seem to matter. I think the preview is still happening. It just doesn't show it. So it's happening on the screen. So when I minimize it, then it stops doing all that mess. So that's now my process for rendering, is get it all set up on the program, click start rendering or whatever. It's not rendering, but it's got a different word for it. And then minimize that sucker and drop the temperature down. There you go. New process. New process. All right. So that's going on. What's going on with the computer? I think it's fine. Touch wood. We're going to go with that. Battle Pass ongoing. You guys are saying I'm at 35. Use DaVinci Resolve and never have an issue. Never have it. So it doesn't get hot? DaVinci Resolve is a pretty high end. That's like a professional level. I mean, PowerDirector, the one I use, has most of the capabilities DaVinci Resolve. I looked into that just a little bit. There's a free version of it, but most of the free versions have watermarks and they don't have all the capabilities and stuff. And I don't need a lot, but generally what I do is slightly more than free ones let you do. No, it's not Twitch. Twitch is right now I'm sitting at 60, so it's not the streaming that's the problem, it's the rendering of videos. So when I make a video to put onto YouTube, that's the problem. Use the free one, yeah. I mean, I like PowerDirector. It's just I didn't realize it was it ran it that hot rendering stuff. For the king. It's all you can do just to turn this stinking computer on. Yeah, I'm not as smart about them as I'd like to be. I'm a lot smarter than I used to be. I would consider myself more a power user than really anything else. All right. I think that's it for channel news, my friends. Not a lot else going on. Let's jump into missions and specials. We'll get the Blue Light Special going here. And we got some interesting things going on in the store. Let's get over here. We have a Tier 9 for sale. A Tier 9. So in the middle of the green boxes, obviously the green boxes, we'll talk about that a little while later. Who has all bought boxes? Good question. Who has bought boxes? We've got the M449 thing is for sale. I don't know. $62 for something you can get for bonds. Remember, that's in the bond shop. So $9,000, something like that. Something to think about. If you really have to have that tank, you can grab one of those in the bond shop. Also weird is that the 50 box one is here. I guess that's just for, what's the word? For exposure. But if you're going to get the boxes, it's up here called Green Light, my friends. Just click on that. Then you'll get all the boxes. You know what's great about these boxes in that it's not great? Anyone in chat know what you can't do with these boxes? Say you were a CC and there was a big box sale and you wanted to do some promotions. I'm kind of giving it away. Gift. Correct. Recycle them. Wayne is not incorrect either. There's no gold. So that's one. That's true. That's true. Yeah, you can't gift them. What do you say? What do you say to that? Nothing. Green loot box, and you can't gift them. Incredible. So, begs the question, fellas. Oversight or on purpose? And if on purpose, what could possibly be the reason for that? Is it somehow, do you somehow think, I think, all right, so I love you guys. For the King is actually going down my train of thought, down the rails of my train of thought right there. And I think it's also some QA stuff. And I apologize if I look at my phone a lot. My daughter's in the midst of this travel home, planes, trains, and automobiles, so I'm paying attention to the chat and how all that's going. So really, unfortunately, I think their QA process is a bit in the street right now. I think it's a bit more, it's more in the street. It just, everything seems like a little broken. This rollout was actually paused. I don't know if you know this, because it was really early in the morning, I think, for NA, and some of you may not have noticed, but they actually had an issue at the very beginning and they paused it. So, very strange. So you can't gift them. You can't gift them. All right, what else we got? Also, there's no gold. Now, we'll talk about it later in subjects du jour. The Turan was, I think, a Christmas tank a couple of years ago. Maybe this year. Maybe it was last year. Maybe it was 2 years ago. I don't know. We get older and the time flies by. But it was one of the tier 3 tanks that you could get in the boxes one Christmas. Once upon a time on Christmas. Experimental ammo. Well, arcade cabinet's back, so you kind of have it for the weekend. Chrysler, we got the GF, the tank that destroyed the game, and kept on destroying it. And the Tier 9. So we have the WZ-114 back for sale. I don't remember if they sold it or if it's only been seen since the event that it came out with. But that being said, if you want one, can you just buy it? That's the 3D style. That's the 3D style. Here it is. $57. So the Tier 9, remember that makes bonds. It's a premium, so it's got credits and extra crew experience or extra experience in bonds. The ISU 152K is in the shop, so if you want the old style with the BL10, there it is. You got to pay for it. Battle Pass stuff is still up. Turin no good. First premium before you knew anything. And you played for fun. What's your win rate in it, kids? Do tell. Do tell. He's probably 60% in it, and he's going to tell everyone he's bad. It was a bad tank. Oh, man. No idea. Fantastic. The Turan. Yeah, I don't know about buying tier 3s, guys. That's a really, really new player thing where you go, well, I guess the game's okay. Let me drop a little money and get a little bit of gold, maybe some premium, and a tank I can tool around with at tier 3 and make some credits. TL used to play for fun. Now he doesn't because there's no fun. I'm still enjoying the game, man. I know I get mad, irritated. I suppose sometimes I get mad, but mostly get irritated. And I do sit down sometimes, play 2 games, get up and walk away. But there are still some times where I'll play for a couple hours and enjoy myself. And you know how you enjoy yourself? When you're doing well. I had a good day yesterday. I've cranked out a bunch of ace tankers, specifically in this tank, the 105 1000. I got a couple, 3 of them in the last couple days. And I think the 1516 I actually aced. I got my first ace on that one in the last few days. Get your heart rate up, yeah. We're going to talk a little bit about that, TL, because there is a bunch of that going on. Gold, nothing going on in there for the specials. I looked in there, I didn't see much. We've got these 3D styles that are outrageously priced at $23. I still can't wrap my mind around that. I don't know. People must be buying them because they keep selling them. That one really blows my mind. The price for that thing appears to me, anyway, in terms of my value for a 3D skin, to be 3 times what I would really consider paying for it. I can see myself paying 40 or 50 for a premium tank, especially if I was newer and I didn't have 52 of them in my. That's lowballing it. 150, 300, whatever it is in my account. But if I was a brand new player, I might look at some of these premiums and go, all right, let me, whatever, I'll spend $57 on premium that I'm going to use for the next 2 years I play this game. Say I've just showed up at the game. But this kind of thing with the 3D style, I can't wrap my mind around it. And I'm glad if people like it, that's fantastic. And if Wargaming's selling them, good on them. But the price point and the whole idea of the 3D skin, that's a little bit crazy to me. Even as I realize buying a bunch of premiums is probably also crazy. Grumpy old man, your doctor told you to stop playing what? Yes, arcade cabinet. We're going to talk about that. There's an okay reason for XP Up Cruise and unlock field mods, yeah. And bonds. Pretty easy to get some bonds relatively quickly, especially if you win some games. Got personal reserves, and that's pretty much it, fellas. There's not a whole lot else in the store. Really, the big thing is this green light. You guys saw the video, and I'm sure you've made your decisions. Did anybody buy boxes? Some of you said no. I was looking in the chat. Did anybody actually end up buying them? Now, I opened 100. And I showed you the video what I got. The thing that here's another thing that it didn't have. Well, I can't even get back to the page anymore. Remember on Christmas you could go back to the page and you could check what you got? That had that little counter. They didn't put that. I mean, the mechanic completely exists. At Christmas you had a counter for all the things you got, and you could get the whole list. So the mechanic exists. They didn't bother to put it in. They didn't bother to put it in. I can't. I really don't get that. I don't get it. I don't. It's very strange. Very strange. I can't gift the boxes, and they didn't put the counting mechanic in. Why? Why? That makes no sense. It makes no sense. Morning, Gene Ford. How are you? I see. Okay, so Ice Dragon did buy. Wait, what? You got 5 tanks and 90? No way. Did you really? Holy crap. That is insane, man. Well, then you got well more than your money's worth out of 90. Were any of them duplicates, or were they all new ones? I ended up getting the 2 tanks you saw. I got the... They're so memorable, I can't even remember them now. I got the Kirovets and something else that I can't remember now, to be quite honest. What were the options? Right, let's go find these things. Where are they? Kirovets and something. I did not get the Japanese TD, which is what I wanted. So we'll have to we'll talk about it in just a minute. What was it I got? I got the Kirovets and the Gonzalo. So Wayne got 65. I got the Japanese. Okay, there you go. So you did okay. That you came out well ahead. Got a bunch of boosters, camos, few Unicrew, and you got the Kari. Okay. Had some of the tanks the other ones didn't need to spend on. 3 tanks. I'll probably never play. Try the Japanese TD. I mean, it's irritating that it's behind a paywall. Anyway, we'll get to all that. What else we got? All right, missions and specials. So that's it for the shilling, my friends. New Twitch drops, which I'm in the middle of trying to figure out because for some reason my Twitch and Prime Gaming and Watt stuff no longer works. So I've got to delink all that stuff, and I'm not exactly sure. Can you do you delink Twitch from Amazon, from the Amazon thing on the Amazon page? Anybody gone through that whole drill of trying to reset it so the stuff worked? You need another unarmored casemate like a hole in your head. I did that, Kedge. That's why I'm trying to look for other. Yeah, I did that. I've done that a half dozen times. No worky. Yeah, don't know. D-Link Twitch through Watt account management and then ring. I did that, Bonzi. I've done it probably 6 times. What I'm going to do is shut down every... Because I think maybe I was watching a stream while I did it. I know I've done it half a dozen times. Was I always watching a stream at the same time? I don't know. I'm going to D-Link it and I'm going to let it sit for a day so it gets well and truly D-Linked. And then we'll relink it and see if that happens to be the problem. So I don't know. All right, where were we? Where was I going with all of this? I have no idea. Oh, the drops thing. There's actually a commander. So this dude, he's Irish, but you have a low. I don't know. Should I reboot 3 times? Jump up, turn around, put my right foot in, take my right foot out. I don't get it. Oh, there are no Irish tanks, but there are some British ones. And do they not have the 4202 with the Irish stuff on it? They do, right? It's a 4202, and it has an Irish. Boom. Oh, look. It even has a green top hat and Irish stuff. It has a pot of gold and a bagpipe and a harp and a lute and whatever this other one is. And a clada. And a horseshoe. Oh, sorry. There you go. Now you can see it. Now you can see. This is what happens when Pilgrim's not here. He's my tech guy. That would have never happened if Pilgrim was here. So... we're gonna need a section that is something like inexplicable marketing moves by Wargaming. At least they put one of the decals on it. At least they put on the webpage here. They put an Irish themed decal on the Lurva. Yeah, I think TL Wiz that is a lot of it. I think that there are a lot of employees stretched thin as they continue to try to reorg and figure out what they're doing. And this one was easy. This one should have been easy. You just put this one right there in the picture and you are good to go. But that is not what happened. That is not St. Patricia's Day, yes. I did not go out. Did you guys go out last night? I avoided it like the plague. I guess it was really 2 days ago. I don't even know when it was. Standing around in a bar with a bunch of super drunk people all pretending they're Irish that is not my bag, baby. Not my bag. The Maus and the Udes are on track, my friends. If you go into the missions. Well, artillery bugs, that's a great question, and here's what I think the answer is. Last time at Christmas, people were figuring out how to make accounts in countries that had different currencies, let's say. And they were able to buy at certain exchange rates a lot of boxes. I think the specific country in question was maybe Venezuela. That place in South America, north part. So I think in order to try to stop anything like that going on, they limited it to 500 to minimize the damage. Some of us were in Dublin for a loud Saturday night after the Irish rugby team hammered my English. Oh my goodness! You might as well just retreat to the. Might as well just retreat to the hotel and hide. Hold on, I gotta grab my. No, I am still getting the drops. So that part's working. Which maybe makes me think I never did unlink it. Don't know. Good morning, Bravo Mike. How are you? So taking a look at the rest of the missions. We got, oh, that's why I went in here. Battle Pal. All right, so lucky to be here. This is 7 a day to get the little tokens. I'll tell you what we're going to do with tokens in a minute. Top of the tree is the Mals and the UDES 1516, which is nice because those are 2 of the Battle Pass tanks right there. And there's not a lot else in here in terms of the missions. Really, there's almost no reason to ever come into this particular tab anymore. And I'd say 4 or 5 years ago, we kind of lived in here figuring out what all the missions are. But this is like abandonware, more or less, at this point. As is the events tab. Barely ever anything in there anymore. But the Battle Pass is working there. So don't forget, go to Depot. Come down here to the parachute and realize there is hidden treasures and token store. So the token store is still the Twitch drops stuff. So I've got 7 of these. We'll go ahead and grab another consumable pack for 5 coins. That's consumable pack number 2. We'll claim that. That'll drop us down to only 2, so I can't get anything else. We can go back here and go to your hidden treasures. What do they have in hidden treasures? Well, this is always fun. This is large repair kits. And there's no number here, unless you highlight it or hover over it, and then it tells you you get 3. So 4 coins, 5 available. You got my little icon in the way right there, but it always cracks me up when they don't tell you how many. For example, over here we have personal reserves for XP. Doesn't tell you how many until you hover over it, and then you find out it's 2. Okay, great. Why all that information just can't be on the right there on the graphic before you have to highlight it, I have no idea. So we're going to go ahead and grab one of them there. And we're going to grab, we'll just go ahead and crank through these. I think the repair kits are probably a little more, I don't want to say useful, but I think you use more repair kits than you do first aid kits. It's been my experience. Remember, there's also a sale. Yes, Gator. I'll show you that in a minute. I already did that this morning. There's also a sale for consumables. So we got a 50% sale on the consumables. Don't forget that. Get yourself some kits. Remember with those that because you sell them for 50%, if you buy them for 50%, it's basically like banking that money. And if sometime in the future you want that money back, you don't lose anything. So it's not quite Pilgronomics because you're not making money, but it's close. So you can get a bunch of kits, let them sit there, and if some point you go, ooh, I want a bunch of money back so I can buy something or do whatever, then provided you're not selling them on a sale. Remember, don't sell them back during a sale because then you get 50% of 50% or whatever. That's not good. But you don't lose anything. So I bought a bunch. I've got 700 or so of those bad boys in there. And I believe equipment's on sale too. Am I correct? I believe I'm correct. Yes. So grab your equipment if you need some of this stuff. On sale right now. The other thing I wanted to remind you, I think most of you know this. If you've got enough tokens, the first thing I think you want to buy with your tokens, unless you're just really hard over on getting to a tank as fast as possible, is I would slide on down to the bottom here. Mine's gone, but you can grab a piece of equipment. So 3 tokens for a piece of bounty equipment. You can only buy 1 per season. Make sure you buy that thing. It's well worth it. So that's what I do with the 3 coins first. Yeah, there was a little. Well, they mentioned it in the article, I think, somewhere, man. Shamrock days are coming. And this is also how you get to the secret code page that was just mentioned. I don't know if it talks about the... Maybe it doesn't. Boxes, Kari, Forest Spirit. Oh. Maybe that was a different article? Huh. Missions, happy hours. Forgot about the happy hours thing. I haven't been playing during that time of day. There's some bonuses during certain hours. Doesn't really say, does it? Hidden treasure. Yeah, this is it. I know where that is. I'm just trying to find where it mentions the sales. I thought that was on this particular article, but I don't see it. So what they're talking about, guys, is click on that. You're going to go to this page. I've already selected it. There's a code right there. Apparently, there's only a certain amount of codes, and I don't think it matters what order you pick the things in. Other than you'll get a random code. I think, to be honest, SPEY 8X1. So if you want a Shamrock style, snake emblems, and 200%, that's your code right there, guys. SPEY. Because people are sharing them, I believe there's only a certain amount of codes per day. So I think this whole, well, I can't see it now, but you click on, I think that's all just fluff. You could probably click in any order you want. You're going to get a random code, and it doesn't matter. Yeah, forum code thread. I had this silly idea that it was really cool that if you picked it in the correct or certain way, you would get something interesting, but I think it's just baked in codes. You pick 5, it gives you a code, and that's that. I don't think it's anything. I don't think it's anything cleverer than that. Could be wrong. I could be wrong. All right, Twitch drops, hidden treasures, new items for bonds. Remember, there's new items for bonds. We've mentioned this a couple times. In case you missed it, though, come over to the store, go down to the bonds, and I actually bought one of the tanks. The tank I got is there's a couple new ones, but I already had them. The one specifically I just bought was the T23E3, which I'm covering up because you can't see, because that's how we roll. T23E3 right there. And I've still got I just haven't bought it. Probably don't need it. But someday I might. 20 degrees, what the? Silly you bought Shamrock Camel for 21 points. The next day got it free from the code. Oh my gosh. That sucks. That sucks, man. Oh, those are the boxes. All right. And last but not least, I don't know if you know this. I didn't know this until this morning. I sat down to start researching and look at what we wanted to talk about today. Did you know there's an arcade cabinet going on this weekend? We mentioned it slightly earlier, but I didn't know that until today. I had no idea. So today's is Element of Surprise. Or is this the whole thing, Element of Surprise? Yes, Element of Surprise. Is this 2 weekends? March 31st and April 2nd, and this is March 24th. Wait. What is happening here? How does this work? Oh, I see. Okay. Are they sandwiching them? Is there one? Oh, okay. So it's every other weekend. That's odd. That's an interesting way to do it. So we got Element of Surprise today, this weekend. Then we get Railgun. Then we get... Oh, see, I'm screwing it up. Here we go. Then we get Railgun. And then we get Element of Surprise. And then we get Railgun. Oh, no. Railgun's the same. Wait, what? What is happening? It's the same dates. No, it's not. Wait, hold on. March 31st to April 2nd. March 31st to April 2nd. So do you get to pick it? Is it... Hold on. What we got here? Arcade cabinet. Yes, you pick. Except, okay. All right, so you go Element of Surprise, then Railgun, then the last weekend you pick. Am I tracking now? Did I just figure it out? Did we just become best friends? I think so. I think that's what's happening here. I could be wrong, but I think I just figured it out. Why is it always so difficult with these guys? Anywho's what's it? Element of Surprise gives you... So the surprise apparently it does more damage. Surprise, more damage. I don't think it has anything to do with spotting. It's like, surprise, you blew up. That's it. Glass, uranium core, plus or minus 75% damage. Well, that sounds like lots of fun. Autoloader, reload time is decreased. So nothing else is decreased? Engine power, so you're faster. You got more engine power. You do very random amounts of damage. And your autoloaders are faster, but nothing else is. That's awesome. What on earth what are you possibly trying to test with that? The BZ-1, that's right. BZ-176. This thing is showing, what is this showing? Plus or minus, reload time, okay, and engine power. And then Railgun has a bunch more stuff. Gun dispersion reduced at different ranges. Hull bounce, gun dispersion on hull traverse, turret bouncers, robotic gun light. So it's much more accurate. Railgun, hence the name Railgun. And 100% more engine power. 50% is not enough. Proximity spotting range is... Oh, okay. So you're basically more or less perma-spotting everybody. Don't play scouts, that's all I'm going to say. Unless you just want a fast tank with 100% extra engine power raging around shooting stuff. You're certainly not going to be doing any stealthy spotting in that one for sure. Now here's the bonds you can get. Win 2, 100. Win 3, 100. Win 5. So 400 bonds if you win 5 battles total. Although, is that win 2 and then reset? Probably. If it's a reset, then it's 5, 8, 10 battles. And you got to win. Although this counter on the bottom seems to... Hold on, what's this counter on the bottom do here? It looks like a totalizer, doesn't it? Yeah, so maybe it's just 10 total. That's what it looks like to me. Anybody done it? Is it just 10 total? It's MQ. What's happening, man? Got the MX-30 and some other junk. That's not bad for 15 bucks, man. I mean, you got to 15 boxes would be really easy to not get a tank in. So getting a tank in 15 boxes, that's a heck of a deal. You definitely are rolling the dice on that one, though, because we'll get to the worth of that in a minute. All right, I think we're ready to get to that. Actually, are we done? Yeah, arcade cabinet. That was the last thing I wanted to do for the shilling and the events and stuff. That's what we have going on. Remember, there's still some streaming for the big Clan Showdown thing today. So if you want to check that out, and there's actually some pretty good coins you can get out of that. So I definitely recommend opening up your browser. Check it out. I mean, if it's something you want to watch, but if you open up the browser and have it running, you're going to pick up a bunch of coins and you can turn those into things in your drop store, which they've got kits and personal reserves and stuff like that. Also, if you're going for the tank, you really need to do those kinds of things to crank up the coins. If you're trying to get one of the tanks, the TOG and all that crap. Yeah, there's a chance for mystery. That's right. Yep. All good, man. All good. So don't forget. All right, let's move on to subjects du jour. And since I've been yapping for 45 minutes, we're going to take a 5-minute break and then we'll hit up subjects du jour. We got the new Prime Gaming. We got World of Tanks Plus. Oh boy. We got Box Madness. There's a Project KPZ coming out. We'll talk about Slactics talk. And I do want to talk about, boxes. And whatever else you guys have on your mind. But give me 5 minutes. We'll be right back.
A mysterious chap who spoke in a tongue with a strange dialect. He offered his help to the mighty Guido to bring some laughter to his love of speedos. To the coffee talk they both came, to bring the message of winning ways to all and sundry and the masses. Yes, that's right, lads and lasses. The damage counts and flexing back will keep you on the right track. Guido is his name, tanking is his game. Guido. Guido is his name, tanking is his game. Guido. So in what, if you want to progress, then seek out Guido nonetheless. With his sidekick Pilgrim, he has a message that to win you must be aggressive. The position and place that you must seek, for the winners only, not the weak. The guru speaks, so listen well. His voice rings out like the Liberty Bell, to bring you all to Unicom land, or to die hard trying in the sand. Guido is his name, tanking is his game. Guido. Guido is his name, tanking is his game. Guido. To the swamplands came the mountain man, to teach his wisdom and pay his due. A man with a name only known to a few. To his followers his words are true.
All right, we are back. We are back. So, here's a question I forgot about this. Anybody grow any radishes? Any of you guys grow radishes at all? Bought some seeds, built up a little bed, planted the seeds. They said 2 inches. I think that's not enough. Triple M is 2 inches not enough. I think it's, kids, not yet. Now, I have a lot of plants and they're doing really well. And I did get one pretty decent bulb, but a bunch of them they're not making bulbs. They have really long tap roots as well. I didn't realize that. Radishes, man, literally the one I pulled out the tap root was, so to speak, that long. So I'm thinking 2 inches is not enough. I think they're crowded. So that's my understanding. But if anyone's got any experience with that. Yeah, to like 6 inches, like, about that long. Is that about right? I probably should have thinned mine out. I could probably still do that, but this was I hate pulling plants out, you know what I mean? That kind of, but whatever, they're seeds, right? So I guess you just pull some out and, yeah, I screwed that up. PC, I don't know, Mad Tanker. We discussed that earlier. The short story is maybe heat, and I've done some things. I've been watching it. So Honestly, I don't know what happened. Could have just been something got sideways and it slowed down to a crawl and quit. But what was very interesting, though, is I didn't mention this part. What was very interesting is once I got it all shut down, I actually had to do the force shutdown, hold the button, and make it just completely shut down. It wouldn't start. Like, I waited probably 30 seconds. I hit it, it would go up and then clank. I'm like, oh crap, that's a power thing or maybe a heat thing. So I think it overheated, really, at the end of the day, I think is what it was. Because it did that thing, right? Everything just kind of started slowing down, clonk, clonk, clonk. And then it wouldn't start. So I unplugged it completely just to let everything, all the little electrons and stuff stop cooking around in there. Probably let it sit for 30 minutes and then it started up. Yeah, Triple M. I think you're right. Yeah, so I need to go. I need to go in. I'm just going to try that as a test. I might be too late too because the plants are pretty big, and I think they're probably on the way to seed. Yo, Danim, what's happening, man? But I may try that. I'll just go in and pull some out and see if thin them out. Maybe a couple of the ones I pull out might have some usable fruit on it or whatever, bulb or whatever it is. I should blame it on Pilgrim. Probably is Pilgrim's fault, 100%. All right. Anywho, let's go to the new Prime Gaming thing, which I think we already mentioned once, but the new Prime Gaming thing is a commander, so we don't really have to go to that. We already actually discussed that, but there's a commander, which is good. All right, this is interesting here, folks. So, I remember. Oops, that's my... Oh, I forgot to put my little graphic up there. Here, we'll have Pilgrim, too, even though he's not here. Where is Chrome? Check it out. World of Tanks Plus subscription mentioned in the EU in-game store. Descartes, he is at his granddaughter's birthday party. So we will accept that excuse. Old PC did that when it would sort of try to cut on, but then couldn't and kept trying to power cycle. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm just, holding my breath at this point. World of Tanks Plus. This is a monthly subscription, guys. So, not so long ago, the in-game store, a strange description mentioning World of Tanks Plus appeared. It's currently a subscription on the Chinese server. It's paid on by a monthly basis. You can get up to 500 gold a week, 2,000 a month in random battles. Now this is, well, I don't know if this is the Chinese version they're discussing or if it's, I don't know. You can get some rentals. What do you guys think of that? I mean, aren't we really paying a subscription if you buy premium? Isn't that really what premium days are? Price is around £6 per month. So let's call that $5. $60. What does $60 get you in terms of premium days? It's not a year. $60 will get you half a year premium. My assumption is this is on top of premium, or is it in addition to, or is it will premium go away? $5 keys for a subscription. So it's basically the price of half a year of premium piled on top of your premium, which is about $100 for 365 days. I don't know, guys. What does it get you? Well, it gets you some gold. I mean, 2,000 a month? Really, actually, 2,000 a month, that's 24,000 gold? Dare I say that's worth it? It could be, Cliffy. This could all, first of all, this could all be nothing. It could just be a mistake. It could be something they thought about. It could be nothing. It could be an error. Who knows? This 500 gold a week, that's why I mentioned it might just be the Chinese thing. This seems like a lot for EU and NA. I really don't think it would be that much in the West, to be quite honest. I mean, that's too good a deal, I think. 2,000 a month is 24,000 in a year, which is $100. So you're paying $60 for $100 of gold, plus transit convention. Maybe that's all it is though. 3% cash back from premium shop. Yeah. Active lets you rent one of 3 tanks. Who cares? We'll receive special badge. Who cares? Extra crew and some directives. So really, you're paying for the gold. You're paying for the gold. Now, of course, you have to earn it in by mission. So who knows how hard that is? It could be quite a bit. Yeah, credit card. Well, no, I don't think you're not going through the Chinese server. I don't think. I mean, if you're in China, you're doing that. No, this would be for us. The only reason they mentioned the Chinese server is the Chinese server has a thing like this already. But I don't know how it works, whether it's on top of premium or if this is their premium, to be honest with you. But something that was mentioned, so I thought I'd pass it on to you guys. I have no idea if this is a thing or not through Cyprus yet. You can also get the codes here, but you can get them out on the forum, on the NA forum as well. Like I said, and they've listed them out. So if you want to find something you want, go ahead and use one of the code centers, and then I just pick the 5 and go on from there. Right, Cliffy. That's the Chinese. So I feel like it would be less gold, but I don't know. If the gold's hard to get, maybe they leave it the same, and you really can't. Maybe it's difficult to even get close to 24,000. The numbers could be completely different. There's the prime stuff. All right, what else we got going on? Subjects du jour. Box madness, guys. Box madness. So, holy cow. Let's go back over to the article and just kind of talk about this for a second. First of all, I think a lot of you were saying no go for no gold. The question then becomes, is this the new normal for boxes? I think there would be a huge outcry for Christmas boxes if there wasn't gold in it. But at the same time, like, how much gold do people have built up these days? You know, the people who buy Christmas boxes and are still spending on the game probably are sitting on a lot of stuff. Now, you can use gold quickly, and I've used a lot of gold. To be honest with you, if I hadn't used all that gold cranking out Chuck on the Manicore, yeah, there you go, TL Wiz. That's about what I was going to say. I would be sitting on probably that much or maybe more. So I spend it liberally because I get it from Wargaming to create content. But even people who pay for it are often sitting on a lot of gold. Diablo has 400. Good. Why do you have 400, man? What do you do? I suppose there's just nothing to spend it on when you've got 400. You need to make a good Manicore crew with that 400,000. Spend every bit of it and make a good Manicore crew. But great. So basically, that's my point. What I was talking about. There's people sitting on all this gold. So when you're trying to entice people to buy stuff, you know, why would you continue to flood gold into your game economy, such as it is? Yeah, you've got what we call many income streams, Diablo, multiple income streams on gold. So I think maybe they're trying to pull some of the gold out of the economy, or at least not stack more into it. You can get compensation, but they kind of solved a little bit of that by putting in quite a few tanks that are not particularly awesome tank, but they're relatively unusual tanks. I'm trying to find it here. Things like the 59 Patton that not a lot of people have, probably because they don't want it because it's not great. Things like the Chieftain T95, which has only recently really been available in any way other than through, fairly specialized events. The Curavets, which has only been offered once. The Forest Spirit's clearly new. The Emil's only been sold a couple times. Gonzalo. So these are all, other than the Alt Proto, which I think has been in the store quite a bit, and the Turtle. And the 59, to be fair, has been in the store. It's just not one that people buy. So you have a multiple fairly low population tanks in here. So not a lot of people buying the boxes are going to be immediately hitting compensation, because they've got the 50 box pity mechanic, which is nice. So you're guaranteed to get something at every 50 boxes. But because there's so many unusual ones, even me, a guy who's got most of the tanks in the game, there were 4 of these I didn't have. Clearly the 2 new ones, the Kari and the Forest Spirit. The Forest, we'll talk about reskins in just a minute. I also didn't have the Gonzalo and the Curavets. The Curavets was part of the first part where I started to realize they were not giving CCs tanks really anymore. Not just to create content, but they started moving it over to our press accounts. So I didn't have that one either. But the real deal, though, with the tanks is that the Kari is now behind that whole fence of wading through a bunch of tanks you don't have, and kind of a real Jimmy kick for everybody in the game, right? Say you had every tank on your account. When this came out, you didn't have this one, right? You did not have the Forest Spirit because it's a new reskin. It's a new tank that nobody had. So you were absolutely having to buy 100 boxes to guarantee you got yourself a Kari. I will just say, regardless of the worth of the boxes to people, which is debatable per individual, and people will have different opinions on it, even considering that was crap. You know what I mean? I mean, it's a brand new premium Japanese tank that people are going to want to get to start working on the Japanese line. They've been hyping the Japanese line. They've talked about this new premium. And then the first way you can get it is this mechanic where, in order to ensure that you get it, you're going to drop $100. Slightly less because you get a discount. You know what I mean? Rats, my Affinity Flight in the 38 was 2014. My last flight in an Eagle was 2009. So a while ago. So Hans Urban says he got screwed in the boxes. Well, okay, so that's the other subject, and that goes to the worth of the boxes, which I said is an individual thing. Obviously, there's no gold. Theoretically, off of Wargaming's valuation of the items in the box, it's still a pretty good deal. The problem is, if you want to make it a really great deal, now you're working on the 50 box mechanic, and now you're talking about large chunks of money just to get to that. Then go into the compensation rule, where these are fairly unusual tanks, which I just discussed, which for some players could take quite a few boxes before they get into compensation with gold. In addition to that, and also too, you may not value times 5s and premium days and things like that as much as Wargaming thinks they're worth. There's a lot going on here as to whether it's worth it to you or not. So you have to be a whale to make it a good deal or a better deal. I think they are generally worth what you pay, but there are things in there that some people will feel are not worth it. Is that sitting on both sides of the fence? I think it is. I would say it's not just a complete ripoff. I would also say there's some real cheesiness involved here. Real cheesiness. The Kraken is not a whale. The Kraken just puts all the arms out and gathers everything in the shop. I like that, Rats. That's good, man. That's the Kraken. Release the Kraken. Click on everything in the store and buy it all. I wonder how much it would cost you to buy everything in the store, especially considering there's that 46 tank pack and all that stuff. What do you think? Someone should do the math. It's got to be, I think 1,000 is lowballing it, isn't it? A couple thousand? But I think it's cheesy. And my real disappointment, the biggest disappointment to me is that the Kari is behind this fence, behind this gate of this whole mechanic. And even if you consider it to be an okay mechanic, which I kind of do, I don't love it, but I'm not up in arms about the mechanic. What I am kind of irritated and pissed off about is that this thing is behind it, which is a brand new. I mean, and I get it. It's the FOMO. It's the I got to have it all. I got to catch them all. It's the new tank. I want that. You know, I'm going to work on Japanese TDs, all that stuff, and that's what they're counting on. But do you have to be that cheesy? I mean, do you have to just pile on? You got yourself the block of cheddar, and then you went and got 4 packs of the Mexican mixed cheese, and you piled that on top, and then you just on top of all the cheesy, you're like, you know what? It's not enough cheese. I have this Velveeta block. I'm gonna toss that in there too. That's cheesy. Hans Urban bought 125 boxes, got the Turtle and Mill. Think I got 2 months of premium. Oh, that's tough, man. Well, I hate to say it, Hans, but you're only 25 boxes away from another tank. You're only 20. And that, my friends, is what they're counting on, right? That is what... Now hold on, it's not fake, TL Wiz. It's not fake. It's totally a tank they planned on making. Look, I can prove it. In Wargaming's own words, man. Here we go. The Kari. See, from 1942, they began to take an active interest in German tanks in general. That's true. As well as in their components, also true. By 1943, a large amount of materials was accumulated. Hold on, I'm messing up. Professionalism. All right, here we go. Large amount of materials. Okay, by 1943, a large amount of materials were accumulated, which served as a basis for creating their own projects. One of which was the Type 5 Kari heavy tank destroyer. See? It's a very powerful armament, allowed it to hit any American tank, and its thick frontal armor provided reliable protection. Presence of such a vehicle would have significantly strengthened Japan's defense, but its development began too late. And then we get to it at the end, my friends. Mostly I'm just kidding with you here, but it existed only in blueprints due to the war ending. I will give this to Wargaming on this. The vast majority of these tanks do have some basis in history in terms of blueprints or plans. Very, very few of the tanks are extrapolations from plans. Those exist. They're there. When they fill in a line, sometimes they just sort of make something up along the way, or they have a variation that may or may not be really planned. And a lot of times it's very vague. Sometimes it's from a mock-up. Sometimes it's from actual blueprints. Sometimes it's from a development that was ended. They built a whole, or they actually built a whole tank. So there's a lot of that going on. Kedge is out. All right, man. Have a good one, dude. Thanks for coming by. Much appreciated. Rats, we have discussed that multiple times, man. That's not me getting on you or anything, but I just don't like airplane games very much. They don't. The only ones I like are the ones I can use my VR rig. So I play DCS and I quite enjoy that. IL-2 with the VR rig is pretty good. I don't know if warplanes can use a VR rig. And some of those games that are more arcadey like that, the VR rig is not the way you want to go anyway, because you can't control it as easily. The resolution's not as good. I love DCS. I enjoy that. Yep. So the airplane games never really appealed to me until I was able to get a VR rig, and so some of them, though, I'm not really competitive. Like, I played War Thunder, the airplanes of War Thunder for a while. But once I got past about tier 5 or 6 or so, I was getting pixel sniped so much I simply couldn't compete, so I just put it down. It just wasn't worth it to me. I mean, you'd have guys coming in from, way out there, and you see the little dot, and all of a sudden you see the shots coming, you're dead. You're like, holy crap, what just happened? Gene Ford, really? Holy cow. Holy cow. Ward Carroll. I don't know Ward Carroll. Who's Ward Carroll? Oh, is that, what's his call sign? Is that his name? What's his call sign? I think I know who that is. Yeah. Oh, Ward Carroll. He's the older guy. Yeah, I've seen some of his videos. I thought you were talking about the younger guy, the F-18, F-16 guy. Yeah, I've seen him actually. He was on the other guy's channel, I think. But I've seen some Ward Carroll stuff, yeah. Yep, absolutely. All right, what else we got? That's pretty much Box Madness. There's not much else to talk about it right there, fellas. There's not a whole lot of it was weird. The whole thing was weird. The mechanic, the way to release a brand new premium is completely cheesy. The items that were in it were kind of interesting. It's a weird holiday to go all in on at the same time, St. Patrick's Day. And then some of the mechanics. We discussed that. They don't have the totalizer for how many things you got from the boxes. You can't do that. And I can't gift them. So I would have loved to do a promotion today. I could have been gifting. You know what? Let's check it. Maybe they fixed it. Let's find out. I bet they haven't. Anybody checked it lately? I know that the other CCs, we all kind of said, hey, what's going on? Is this by design or not? Crickets, of course. No answer. Why would they answer? Proceed. Nope. Nope. Can't do it. Perfect. I don't get that. That one's. I don't get it. I can't come up with any reason you would. I can't come up with any reason you would set it up to not be able to gift it, other than buffoonery. If I'm honest, somebody forgot or screwed it up or whatever. That makes no sense. Makes no sense. I don't know what that word means or what that name is, but thanks for the follow, my friend. Linady 119. All right, there you go. Is that a translation? That's interesting. Translates it. Words are hard, man. So that's Box Madness. There is a German tank, potentially. Heavy tank. The KPZ something something. So we slide on down here, we see, and here's the information on it right here. Oh, that's actually, never mind, that's the console 07 KPH. This is the one I'm talking about. KPZ 07PE, which is a tier 10 heavy tank. It says promotional. Not really sure what that means. Here are the stats right here. So we've got 420 damage, 260 pen, 325 with gold, 12-second reload, 1.7 aiming time, and 0.33 dispersion. That's pretty dang accurate. That's about, is that about Leopard levels or a little bit worse, slightly worse? -8, which is decent on the depression right there. We've got a 50-kilometer-hour heavy, which is pretty good for a heavy. Doesn't particularly have a lot of armor at 190. That's not great. And the angles don't look amazing either. I'm not sure what the mantlet is because you don't get that information on this. View range of 410, which is pretty darn good. Hull armor is okay. Upper plate at 140. It's also got a shovel thing on it. So maybe that's spaced armor? Maybe, don't know. And I don't know if that's necessarily a shovel. Maybe it is. Those look like arms, so it looks like it does. Looks like it does lower from these arms right here. So it's got a shovel on it, potentially spaced armor. And if you hit X, then the shovel will come down and hide your lower plate. I don't know. I don't think that's true. That would be funny though if it was. Shovel doesn't move more than likely. What else we got here? We can I go back on that? Oh geez. Oh geez. Oh, there it is. All right. So that's all we know on the Project KPZ-07PE. It looks like it's using heat. It's got APCR and heat. Assembly line German heavy. Yours for only $150. Yeah. Well, and it's interesting because that, you know, most of the German, all the German heavies are super heavies at tier 10. There's no mobile, accurate German heavies. Well, that's not true. There's the E50M. There's a heavy But this looks more like along the lines of a Leopard in terms of design, but it's a heavy. Maybe you can use the shovel to knock down the barriers and stuff that the destructible stuff they're gonna bring in. That would be cool, Gator. Dig a position in and go hold down. Nice. Wouldn't matter much if you're only rolling with 190 turret armor though. Grumpy, yes, absolutely. Yeah, I play DCS. I've got that. I haven't played it for a while. I need to get back on that. I do enjoy it. It's a good game. It's a good game. It's pretty realistic too. Quite good. Eagle flies like an eagle, which is fun. Every once in a while, I'll just start it up and go fly around, do some landings and stuff. Sometimes I'll go play on the servers with the air-to-air stuff. Okay, so that's that Project KPZ. So Slactics Talk had a little fun with Tragic Loss on that. She sent me a note. She got a laugh. That was a lot of fun making that one. That was a stream where we showed up, 3 of us. I think it was myself, Leaf Fan, and Zemke, I believe. And they ended up getting us, I dropped like 5,800, 5,400 something in my T54. It was actually a request. Somebody wanted me to play the T54. And I screwed up at the end trying to get over there to reset, and I went off the cliff and then rolled the tank right in front of Tragic. So I'm in mid-roll, and she shoots me right as I'm rolling. It was pretty funny. But the best thing I did in the last couple weeks was get into some anonymizer baiting, and that was a lot of fun. I don't know if you guys, how many of you are on the forums? I know some of you are, the official forums, but there was a anonymizer forum post. She apologized. No need to apologize, man. I'd have shot me too. I'd have shot me twice for good measure. No, it was a good game. She played well. She dropped 3,000 something. She's getting a lot better. I would say she's definitely made an effort to improve in the game. She's pretty good actually, in terms of wargaming employees who play. She's good, getting better too, I think. Yeah, the anonymizer thing was pretty funny. I just had to get in there and start, baiting those guys just a little bit. There was a lot of very focused, good. It's interesting on the anonymizer thing because every time I say the word boo against it, people freak out. It's absolutely hilarious to me, to be honest with you, on the whole anonymizer thing. Here's my bottom line on that. Even though we've covered this ground 42 times, we'll just do it again. I think my opinion of it is that there are a way more people who think they're being focused because they believe they're that good than is actually happening. Everybody gets focused at one point or another. Generally, it's because you're in the right place at the right time, which turns out to be the wrong place at the wrong time if Artie's focusing you or somebody YOLOs you or something, or you get pushed. You can overextend and have that. There's a lot of reasons in the game you could feel like you were focused and you really weren't. It was just situation dependent. There's a small amount of people, small amount, much, much smaller than people think, that will get jumped on for name recognition or clan recognition. So there's a few clans and there's a few names out there that are that well known. Quickie Baby, as an example, Cracked, or one of the big clans. Noted. Probably happens more than, say, to me or to, a 51% player, 100%. Is it enough to matter? No. Is it always a negative? No. Because my experience has been the few times I notice some kind of focus or YOLO, again, could be situational, could be name recognition or whatever. The majority of the time, if you do that, you are putting your own team at a disadvantage because generally you lose all your hit points and die. Right? So I think if you looked at it over the entirety of someone's body of work, even if they were being focused, and even if it was skill or quickie or someone like that, generally, first of all, they don't generally put themselves in a position to have that happen, number one, because they're good enough. Number two, if they do get focused or YOLO'd, they generally turn that into a positive for their team, even if they die. Now, they don't like dying and get killed out of a game, and even if their team wins, that irritates them. So I get that 100%. For the vast majority of other people, and this is where it makes me laugh, because you get all these blurples and low purples and even some good players that nobody knows them from Adam. And they're so sure that the world is out to get them that every time they play, they just get focused because of their pretty color or their clan or whatever. And I find personally that, at least in my opinion, that the vast majority of those people are full of crap. Because it just is, dude, you're not that important. You really aren't. So, which brings me to how animated and pissed they get if you say something like that. It's absolutely hilarious. I find the anonymizer to be the Unicum's answer to the Unicum conspiracy theory. Everyone's out to get me. Everyone's out to get me. Which brings us to, what do you do? Again, there's no answer. None of that is me saying wargaming should take the anonymizer route. In the long run, I don't give a shit. I just find it funny when people who are generally the same people who are generally really interested in the truth about stats and skill and getting good at the game and learning the mechanics and all that, at the same time will have these unprovable conspiracies that everyone's out to get them and their gaming experience is better. If in your mind you feel it's better, that's one thing. But if somebody says, well, it's not really provable and I doubt you're being focused as much as you are, instead of going, well, I don't know, maybe, but I like it better, you double down and say, no, it's better. I don't get focused as much. My stats are better. No, they're not, dude. No, they're not. You know what? Another thing that's super funny about that? The other thing that's super funny, do you remember when Quickie Baby made that video about it? And he mentioned something about, there's only a few of us who really get focused that hard. And everybody came down on him like he was just the most arrogant asshole of all time. I listened to that video and I went, No, he's got a complete point. There's very few of them, and he happens to be one of them. If you show, he gets YOLO'd a lot just because of who he is. He's one of the very few people where that makes total sense to allow him to anonymize. Now, if I were him personally, I would never anonymize, dude. Name recognition. You want to come at me? Come at me. That's a lot of fun. I don't care. You know, I've said it before. Somebody, if you're going to YOLO me in the game, and I can prove I've been YOLO'd maybe a dozen times, maybe. Every other time is I don't know. And generally it's because that person has sent me a note and said, ha ha, I went after you or whatever. Or I looked at it and I'm like, oh, I know them, and I see them coming right at me or whatever. So, hey, that's great. Well, and that's a good point, Ice Dragon. If you're gonna react negatively, then you're gonna continue to get whatever that is. That's a personality issue right there. As kind of a tangentially attached comment, have you ever seen the videos where famous people react to mean tweets? Hey, Vorpal, I am currently helping train ABMs. That's what I do right now in my retired life. At the schoolhouse at Tyndall. Yeah, CMG, but what I think is fascinating about them is how they react. Have you ever noticed that? How they react to them, you can really tell that some of them are very thin-skinned. You can tell the ones that find it genuinely funny. You can tell the ones who get angry and attack back. And it's like, you're going to read a mean tweet, and then you're going to attack a mean tweet back live. So that's kind of my comment with streamers. If you're going to react to stuff negatively that happens to you like that, you're probably going to get more of that, because if they've seen that weakness, or they see that they can get a reaction out of you, you're going to get more of it. So there you go. So I thought that was funny. Some of you may have seen I stopped commenting. It went on for quite a long time. There's one person in particular. I used the word bent. I said something to the extent of, I know, every time I say this, there's a certain amount of people who get bent. And then that person went on for a while about how I was making, I made personal attacks, which, okay. I mean, if you think that's a personal attack, you're pretty thin-skinned. Then it went on from there. But I disengaged and just watched it for a while. I feel a little bit bad because I knew I was throwing that little grenade in there, and I knew exactly what was going to happen, and what I knew was going to happen happened. And then everyone got mad that it happened. I don't know. Anyway, that was fun. I shouldn't be doing that. I understand that. I forgot about Slactic's talk when the thing with Tragic was pretty funny. I got one comment on the YouTube, and I think it was Cliffy. If Cliffy is still in here, are you the one that mentioned, be careful, some people here are going to take you serious? Yeah, that's right. It happened on the forum too, because I posted on the forum. But yes, in comments on YouTube and on the forum, a couple people, I wasn't certain. Sometimes I have to be careful, because I don't know if somebody's giving me the old reverse psychology thing, right? I enjoy that too. I'm like, all right, are they? Usually that's fairly apparent, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes people's attempt at that isn't quite right. But good on them for trying or for doing it. If I can be sarcastic and do that, then they certainly can too, and I do appreciate that. But the one comment on the YouTube that I thought was interesting, I didn't write the whole thing down, but basically he says riggers run Watt remotely using the blockchain. Oh, it was Avalon? Okay, Clippy, copy. But I was not aware the blockchain was going to be used by the riggers. The blockchain. I don't know. I don't even know. I don't know. All right, I said somebody sent me a note, and I said I would address this towards the end right here. I think this is interesting. What do you guys think? The algorithms. Yeah. You thought me saying, Gator, I almost left it out. I did, but I felt I wanted to at least let some people in on it who might not otherwise get it. I don't know. Maybe I'm reacting to that a little too much. I should just let it go. But I did chuck it up there just to. You know what? I'll be honest with you. The reason I did is because I was taking the Mickey out of Tragic just a little bit, and she totally got it and enjoyed it. But you can't always be certain, so I wanted to do that just to make so that there was no doubt that I was just having a kid around. So I think if I wasn't doing that to somebody like her who's a public figure for wargaming, I just wanted that to be out there so that nobody could possibly, well, they would anyway, I guess, but decrease the possibility that people really get bent about it. Was I too deadpan? I needed to go a little bit crazier. Oh man, yeah, just some really angry, red-faced screaming. Yeah, good idea. So this one, going back to this last subject here, is I got a comment from somebody saying that he thinks, the decline of World of Tanks, saying that, a few months ago, 20,000 on a weekend night, now there's less. This is a subject that's come up since the game started. Is it dying? All that stuff. There's a lot of comments from you guys weekly about playing less. I don't know if I've had anyone say they're playing more. And I think sometimes when we comment we're playing less, that's not really true. I've said that in the past, and then I'll have streaks where I'll be playing just as much as always, and then there'll be less. But I think overall it's less. There's a lot of changes going, a lot of stuff going on that people don't. Yeah, Diablo's, there you go. Diablo's playing more. But you took a 2-year break, right? Other people have been around for a while. And people come and go. That just happens. People take breaks, they come back, all that good stuff. But I'm talking in the macro and the big picture stuff. Don't know, man. Yeah, see, that's part of it, D. Carde. There you go. Grumpy Man hasn't played in 6 months. I really feel like, and Pilgrim and I have discussed this in the past too, when they cast off Lesta Studio and started going their own way, things have just really got kind of random. You're a better player, yeah. Things have got quite random. So I don't know. I don't know what the answer to that is. Whether I think it's downhill or not. I think if you looked at it in the big picture, it's a kind of a steady decline. It's what older games do. Yeah, Chieftain back as a campaign reward. That's been a big subject with the CCs. We've discussed that considerably. I don't know if Wargaming's listening, but I would say the vast majority of the CCs want it adjusted. Bring it in line with the other tanks as well as the 279 early. And in general, nerfing or balancing premiums and reward tanks is important to, I think, most of the CCs. I don't think it's generally important to most of the really good players, though. I kind of doubt that. If you're not a CC and just a good player cruising along, you're probably plenty happy to have overpowered tanks. So I'm not sure that's really on Wargaming's radar, because probably, well, it can't be. But it's on the radar, but in terms of actually bouncing, they would have done it if they figured the player base as a whole wanted it. Clearly, they figure it doesn't want it, and they want people to have those. So you say that, Diablo, and I've heard that. I know we've had this discussion multiple times, but I don't find that to be true for all the players that have them, because I keep running into players with these things and they have hundreds and hundreds of battles and increasing. So For you, probably, because especially for the competitive guys, I'd imagine, since you play all your competitive stuff with the same tanks, it wouldn't surprise me that a lot of those guys. But again, I think you and me are the minority. Oh yeah, most are bad. Most of the 279s are average to bad. But that's just because more of those players own them. I still see plenty of 55, 58, 60% guys raging around with lots of battles in them. And maybe they're trying to 3-mark. That's another thing. Some people do the run for the 3-mark and then put it down. So that's another possibility. But that still means it's in your game with a good player behind it. All right, Bonzi, have a good one, man. Have a happy Sunday. Have a good Sunday. So those are all my subjects, my friends. I'm just going to leave the game is dying thing there. I don't have a good answer for it. I don't really pay attention to it. At some point it will close down, but honestly, I think it's as healthy as it could be. There's a lot of stuff they could do better. There's always a lot of stuff they could do better. For me, the big one would be to balance some of the tanks. But you know what? At the end of the day, I don't know. Is it worth it? Is it worth the angst that's going to happen for them to balance the tanks? I would say not, because they haven't done it. So I don't see much happening. They're trying to manage those tanks. The 279 early to some extent is managed by it being hard to get. And even though there's boosters, not everybody's going to run out and pay the money to boost. Slowly there'll be more and more come into the game as people finish the missions and stuff. But I don't think it's gonna explode anytime. The one they do have control over is the Chieftain, and they do that by not offering it every time. So it slowly gets fed into the game too. Yeah, oh, Brute, 100%, man. That's a bad one. Yeah. I think she's on the plane headed to Salt Lake, hopefully. I haven't had a note saying no. So we'll have to work that. I would say most Diablo would be my. I think at this point a majority. But that's just me. Maybe I'm wrong. I've said it before though. I think, let's put it this way. I think the majority of 279 earlies have rigged one game at least of one mission in some way. I would not doubt that. In terms of buying it, I wonder. I don't know what percentage of people who just plain old chuck a credit card at it and have somebody get it. What's really fascinating is there's a couple of the CCs on the EU who claim they got the T22 legitimately. And I guess on EU maybe it was possible. That's really interesting to me. I would have liked to have seen those games, actually. That's the claim, though. Yeah, she's only got an hour, so I'm hoping there's no delays and she can... Salt Lake's not too big, so she should be okay. What's not true? You think they didn't get him an EU fair? Or is it the other way around? You're saying not true? I don't think very many got it legitimately. That's an old one though, right? That's the way I saw it, Diablo. And after having interacted, let's say, with my friends on the other side of the Atlantic, I'll be honest, I don't know how much I believe them. I'll just leave it at that without saying anything else. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. All right, guys, we'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that. Thanks for coming by. Let's go raid somebody. See who's doing what to who here. My house is also waking up at this moment, so go see what we got. Oh, Goose is up. Let's go raid Goose. That sounds like a good one. You guys have a fantastic Sunday. Hold on, I gotta go ahead and over. Oh, he's playing Diablo. Oh, cool. He's playing Diablo. Why not? Let's go check that out. That'll be cool. Diablo 4? Diablo 4. All right, raiding Goose. Thanks for coming by. You guys have a great Sunday. Hopefully, well, not hopefully, we should have Pilgrim back. Tiger MP, thanks for the sub, man. Much appreciated. Right at the end. SVB says it probably wouldn't make any difference. Let's not go there, man. Let's not go there. You guys have a good one. Buckle up for this week, my friends. Could get spicy. You guys have a good one, and we are off to see Mr. Goose and check out Diablo 4. Yeah, Petester, you're welcome, man. I appreciate you guys. We'll see you maybe later today. I might actually stream a little bit later today, but if not, sometime midweek. We'll see you guys later.